just so that you guys know. And what I'll do is at the end of our discussion today, once it compiles, I'll send you a link so that you can actually review it at your own leisure. Okay. So
that'd be awesome. Anyway, thank you.
So anyway, when I log into the B2B, you guys all know or both know that when I push that little button on your website, when I say launch or something, it's going to open a screen, what we would call the opening screen. Now that opening screen, this is mine. This is the reason why I do that is because we can actually have pictures. We can do HTML in here. These are linkable fields. There's a number of things that we can do in here to actually, to make this yours as an example, or you can actually do it to make it yours. So, basically if I log out here and when I log in from here, it's going to bring me to a screen, and I'm going to log in today as an admin, as a support person, so I can actually show you the configuration stuff too. Now, BlueLink has 3 user types. One of them is the system admin, that can actually change the configuration of the software or of the app. That would be you guys being able to go in there and, showing, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Do you want to be able to show the, the outstanding balance of a customer's information? Or what do you want to show them or not show them? Being able to, change the colors of the system in general. That's the kind of stuff that configuration that the admin's going to do. Mm-hmm. We have other ones too that are in the system. If I go into add user, you can see here that we have a role of a user. This is a buyer. That's all he's doing. He's actually going into the system. He's able to buy products from your site, which of course you guys probably already are aware, which will automatically populate the back end. Okay, it's going to automatically populate Elite. There's also another one called a customer admin. Actually, there's 4. There's a customer admin. He gets to make or create users for his company. So for instance, Ben, you are the VP of operations for Michael Benedict's company. There's going to be 5 buyers. You can create users for those 5 buyers to log into your company as Ben to be able to place orders.
Right.
Okay. That way you as a company, Oak Drugs, don't have to create customer users for, all of your customers. They can do it themselves. You can see who they create and stuff, and you can manage them, but they get the ability to do that.
That's more for our larger corporations that have a buyer, inventory specialist, AR department, all that good stuff.
They can go in there and, and if they're buying product or looking at product, they can actually go in there and log in as them or log in being able to if you think about it, in our old version, we used to say, somebody used to call you and say, Ben, can you create me a new user for Michael? Ben, can you create me a new user for Chris? That was a pain in the butt. Now they can do it themselves. Okay.
Great. Okay.
Site admin is what I was talking about. Sales reps, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but even in the old version that we had, the old versions, you could actually create your sales reps, be it independents or not, go in there and place orders for their customers. Okay.
That's what we were really looking for. That was
cool.
A good thing. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna actually go into the system and play with it being an administrator. And I promise you that I will get back to this, what the sales rep looks like, so that you can actually see that function. Now it doesn't change too much different. All it is gives them, there's a specific setup that can actually be set up that says, who do they get to place an order for? That's all it is. And a new screen pops up. But anyway, you get the idea. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this, and you can actually
Michael, sorry to cut you off, right? I have a quick question.
Sure.
So let's say when you say sales reps getting access to it, right?
Yeah.
Meaning if a sales rep is traveling, let's say, okay, and he gets a call from a customer, can he place an order using the app or the website for that particular customer who's under the sales rep?
Yes. Wow. He cannot, and this is the caveat. And this is something because of this is not, this is an order portal. He cannot change the price. of that product. He can place the order for that product, but he cannot change the price. He is logging in as a sales rep for Oak Drugs.
Right.
I'm placing an order for Oak Drugs. I'm Michael Benedict, the sales rep for Oak Drugs. I'm going to place an order for them. Okay. And it would be the exact same scenario once they log in as placing the order if Ben from Oak Drugs placed the order.
Right.
Got it.
Okay? So that's the difference. So anyway, so I'm logged in now as admin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, this is, for a better word, our setup capability now. So, and I'm not going to go through each one of these because this is all sophisticated training type stuff, but I just want to give you some ideas of what we can do. We can do things like, password complexity, depending on how sophisticated you guys want to get. We actually suggest what to do, timing out of things. BlueLink is, of course, a non-pharma solution also, or can be. So we actually would turn that on, or you would actually turn that on. Being able to do short-dated items, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, how we can actually deal with that. And you can see here that there's a lot of fields that allow you to enter in your own data. So in this particular one, it's bubble text. So you could put your own, what you want short-dated to be called when you're doing things like bubble text, or, short-dated, this is shop list for the short-dated. This is what we call it, but you could actually enter in your own data as an example. Page length information, you can actually set up, how many different items you want on a page before you actually start getting the boxes. There's some configuration stuff, report configuration about what you want to be able to see and which reports you're wanting to use. I'm just going to jump over some of this stuff. Footer links. This is information that you'd actually be able to see at the bottom. So right now I don't have any, but I can actually put in there, for instance, if you were wanting to put your Oak Drugs in your logo, or your Oak Drugs in some information, or, we're open from 9 to 5, you get the idea. That kind of stuff can actually be put at the bottom, and it would show up on each one of the pages then. Okay, so you can actually do that kind of stuff. And there's all kinds, and if you go in there, you can actually see that there's all kinds, I think it's a 5x7 or something. So, this is 5 rows or 5 columns by, I think it's 3 actually, or 5. So we can actually do 20 different spots at the bottom that would allow you to set it up. So BlueLink would still be there, but it would actually be populated on top of the BlueLink, copyright type stuff, right? So you can actually see that. But this is where you'd be able to do that kind of stuff in the system also. Don't worry about health check, but that home page that I was just talking about, this is the home page. This is where you'd be able to go into the home page and doing, specific, HTML for different, think about this as a 5x5 block on the home page. So you can actually identify which one. So those 3 at the bottom, as an example, these 3 are fields that I created.
I'm sorry, if I may jump in quickly, right? All this information, if I give a login to my web developer, they should be able to fix it for me, right? The way we want it to be done.
Oh my God, yes. I actually created my own HTML. So,
nice.
But if they,
unfortunately, I'm not that smart. So,
yeah,
I got to let it go. So.
Actually, Chat GPT is really great for that kind of stuff. But anyway, but yeah, Ben just disappeared. He's not on anymore. He might be in a meeting.
What happens is, as soon as we talk about HTML and web page and everything, it bounces off him, and his Chat GPT automatically disconnects him because, hey,
oh, there he is again.
His AI tells him that you're too dumb for this stuff, so it hangs up on him.
So anyway, so you can so you can actually see here, depending on what you want. You could have this whole 5x5 block, which is the whole front page, an HTML block. So you could actually have the colors, and if your developers know how to do HTML, they can do it themselves. Okay, so that's again the setup. But you can actually go in there and create your own. These are basically those launch boxes. So if I go into one of them, you can see it's the logo and it's the URL, and you get the idea, right? So you can actually do that kind of stuff yourselves in the system. Change log. This is actually new, but who made changes to what are in here. Shopping config as an example. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but if you have an out of stock product, what do you want it to be called, or how do you want it to be shown, right? If it's going to be, an in stock, how many do you have left? So it would actually say 25 in stock or something like, or left in stock. What would be the low threshold that you would want to set? Again, all of this. Quantity breaks can be set up in the system. Again, do you want to show the NDC number in the system, right? Or the schedule? You can actually show that kind of stuff. Again, all this kind of stuff can be set up in there. Product details. This is all about labeling, and we're going to actually show you about product details when we get into the shopping information. But you can actually tell the system. And just one thing to be very, very aware of, all of this information is being pulled from Elite. Okay, from ERP. You are not needing to create another, another column if it's not in here. So for instance, if I go into here as an example, all of these columns are available to be entered or added to the system, and the information in these columns are coming directly from Elite, okay, or from Blue Link. Okay, guys, just so you're aware of that. Yeah, so that's what it, and we have tried to give you sort of an explanation of what it does, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to figure out what does this do or versus what does that do. We even show you some little pictures of stuff as an example, right? So you get the idea. On the checkout, what do you want to see? Do you like, for instance, in our old version, you couldn't do things like, province, you'd have to only have state, and it was a custom to actually do it, but you can actually enter in what you want, the state and zip code to actually read as an example. Shopping cart drawer, number of items to show on each drawer as an example. You can have as many as you want that will actually repopulate. You can enter a message at the bottom of the shopping cart that actually says what you want. Maybe this particular one would say, Oak Drugs is off on Memorial Day type of thing, right? Just so you get the idea there. Submission information. How do you want this order when it comes into Blue Link? How do you want it to show? So it's going to be an order, of course, and it's going to be status of a web order, but you could actually create whatever you want that to be. The order type would come in as regular in this particular setup of the system. Okay, so you can actually see that. Now, you guys may or may not be aware that Blue Link's B2BOP, we call it B2BOP, can actually be set up to only submit quotes also. Now, for the most part, most of our customers are not doing that. They're only using orders. But for instance, in some industries, in the industrial industry, as an example, most often an order comes in as a quote, they quote it, and then then it goes from a quote to a sales order once they approve it as an example. But quotes can be actually set up in the system also. Okay, just so you know. Now, it can be only one or the other, okay, guys? You can't have part of your customers with sales and the other part with quotes. It has to be either quotes or orders, depending on how you set it up in here. Just so you're aware of that.
All right.
Shopping page, again, more information about setting up shopping links in the system or what you want to be able to see in the system. Again, we're talking about categorizations, all that kind of stuff. These two, and I'm going to show you but you want to remember category link and brand link, because I'm going to talk to you about those in a little bit to sort of show you where they show up in the system. Okay, when they show up on the shopping pages. And again, information about the inventory, what do you want to actually see in the information? Again, a whole bunch of information that you can actually play with. Theme, this is all the different logos and stuff that you can enter into the system yourself. Okay, so the banner that we saw, what happens if you don't have a picture of something in the system, and you can actually even set up your own site colors. So if Oak Drugs has their own colors, you can literally every page can actually be set up as a different color if you wanted to. Okay. In the system, so you can actually do that yourselves. And if there's always a default, so if you mess up, it's the idea to see that. Counts received or counting information. What information do you want to see? Do you want to see additional information? You can actually populate that information in here as an example. Order history. Again, how many order or how much history, how many months back do you want the customer to be able to see this information, right? You can actually see that. Order details. These three are important nowadays, right? The EPCIS button, the DT button, and the DT summary button, right? I'm going to show you that information here when we get in there. This is the data transaction. This is the file copies of the EPCIS file. Okay, just so that you know what those two are. But our customers who are selling to pharmacies, as an example, the pharmacy may need the EPCIS file, but they don't want to have to connect to the EPCI to that customer via, I think you guys are using LSpedia, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So, but in this particular case, they could actually, I believe that they can actually download the EPCIS file right from the system. Now, I'm not sure, to be honest with you guys, if LSpedia has provided that EPCIS capability in our B2B. I know that Gateway did, but I'm not sure if LSpedia did. That would be something I could find out for you just to double check. But anyway, you get the idea there.
Okay.
Customer configuration limits the contract. If you have customers that have specific price lists or contracts in the system, you can actually set them up in here.
Sorry, say that one more time. You can do what now? You can set them up where?
You can actually tell the system, do you want them to see only their contract prices, right? Mm-hmm. Or their contracts that you set. So for instance, if you have a specific contract set up in the system for Michael, and there's 25 items on that list, you can tell the system by checking this box that, let's pretend I'm Adam Baum, that Adam Baum can only see those 25 products that are on his contract list.
Gotcha. But let me ask you this. Let's say we currently have a contract in place for all of our, hundreds of customers. Each contract is set to every item that we have in our system. We don't have to do anything. It'll automatically just load every item in the system.
Yeah. If it's not checked off, this is narrowing the search. If it's not checked off, they get to see everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So, and the prices for that particular customer, if it's different, are going to show up anyway, right? They're going to show up by that particular customer. So, Adam Baum for product ABCD gets a different price than Atlanta, medical devices for ABCD. Okay, guys, just so you know.
Yep.
User config. This is the maintenance. This is where you can tell the system that Michael Benedict, as a sales rep, can actually see things. He can actually place orders for specific customers. Okay. And that's where you would actually set that up in here. And I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. And then the default permissions, basically, what are the permissions that can be set up to allow a default user to actually do things. You want everybody to see their history, or to be able to do a mass email button. That kind of stuff can actually be set up in the system. So before we get into other things, let me log out here for a second. I'm going to log back in as a sales rep, just to sort of show you what's important to you. And I believe that's that one. Mm-hmm. This is the screen that a normal user would not get to see. For what customer can Michael Benedict, and I'm Michael Benedict, the sales rep, can I place an order for? When I click on Atlanta Medical Devices, I am now placing an order for Atlanta Medical Devices. Okay? And it's as easy as that. Now I'm in the system as Michael Benedict, placing an order for them, and I get to see the exact same prices as they would as Atlanta Medical Devices, be it the contracts or anything else. Okay, guys? Just so you know. So if I go into the account information, it's Atlanta Medical Devices that populates. If I'm done with this order, I can go back in and create an order for someone else, right? So that's the difference. Now, and you'll notice that the users and the configuration tabs are gone because I don't have access to those tabs.
Right. Okay. Logged in as a customer. Got it.
That's right. I'm logged in as a sales rep. But if I'm logged in as a customer, same idea.
For the customer. Yeah,
same idea. Yep. I'm going to go back into logging in as admin again, just because I want to be able to show you some stuff. So again, they're back. So let's actually go into, I'm actually on my home screen. Let's go into shop. So it's as easy as this. I go into shop and I can see products. I can search products. I can search by different, I can sort by different ways or methods that I want. But if I searched for this particular product, I could have searched by M222. I could have searched by the description. I could even go into, if I go into the details of this, and I just clicked on it, by the way. Actually, the details are not in here. But if I go into the details, you know, the details that the 64,000 character field, it would actually even search on and that information in here and actually populate the information as an example. Okay, just so that you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
So it will do all that kind of stuff. It's as easy as me saying, "Yep, I want one of these things." I can add it to cart. It's telling me what my price is, and it actually added specific one. There was already one in the system, but it already added the specific quantity. I can go back and do some more. I can go back and do some more shopping if I wanted to. I can search by, you know, scheduled. These are all, by the way, the categories or the information that you're seeing here for schedules as an example, or for categories coming from BlueLink. Okay, they're not actually, you don't have to worry about going in there and creating your own. So what categorization you have set up in BlueLink is going to actually show up in here. Okay, now, and I can actually go into bowls and I can do the same thing. So if I go into, again, search on bowls, you get the idea. I can actually see that. And I'm going to say, I want, you know, 2 of these as an example. I can add it to my cart. Now, you'll notice here that we see something says add to shopping list. If I am buying something from Oak Drugs over and over and over again, I might want to add it to a shopping list so I don't have to worry about next time going in there and finding it. Okay, so I, as Michael, can go in there and create shopping lists. I'm just going to add it to the shopping list, and it's going to ask me which shopping list. I'm just going to say, sure, it doesn't really matter. Michael, in this case. Oh, existing. I'm just going to go into existing. I'm going to say my weekly one, and I'm going to say save to list. So it's going to add it to my list. If I go into my shopping list now, it's going to add it. It's going to be adding. It's going to have added it to my weekly list. So when I come in here as a user that's buying from me all the time, I'm going to say, you know what? Most of the stuff is going to be in my weekly shopping list. I want some of these, and I want some of these, and you get the idea, right? And I can actually change the quantities that I might want right from here. And then when I actually say, I'll move the selected items to cart, it's going to take the quantities, the selected ones, it's going to add it to my cart. Okay. Easy as that. So now they're in here. What that message popped up, by the way, is it said you already had some that was already in there. Do you want me to replace it or add to it? That's exactly what it said.
Gotcha.
Earlier, we were talking about, and I'm going to go into shopping again. Earlier, we were talking, or I said to remember one of them that was a category and one of them that was a brand. That's these guys. So if you have specific products that you want to sort of call out, or maybe you've actually categorized products as new, just to make life simple, you could actually have a new up here so that when I click on this, I'm actually going directly to what's in that new. So it just gives me an easier way to find stuff. See, this is brand. So there was one that said for categories, and there was one for said that was brand. And the brand actually opens up, and it's actually showing me all the brands that I have available now. And same idea, I can add it to cart. Not a problem. Okay. You can see things like how many are left, right? I can go into here and I can look and see things like, I think you guys only have one location, right?
Yes.
But you could actually, if you had multiple, you can actually see how many do I have in different locations if you wanted to, what the SKU is, who the manufacturer was, what the class was, what the vendor. All of this information is set up in the configurator, in the configuration. So you can actually have some of this turned on or off depending on what you want it to be able to do. Okay, guys, just so you know. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Going back to shop again, I can actually see this. And by the way, this could have been changed easy enough by the way I was wanting to. Remember, we were talking about how many do we want to see in the system or buttons. I think that I'm not sure what I had. I think I had 10 set up or something like that. But then I can actually scroll through that way if I wanted to. End of the day, what's happening now is I am ready to cash out, right? So let me add one more just to make life simple, right? I'm going to add this. Okay. Cannot add greater quantity than, what did it say there?
I didn't see it.
This was a short dated item. That's why.
Stock. That's why. You can't add more. You can't add many more. They're gonna need stock.
Yeah. So actually, that's a good one. So that's a message that pops up if it's a short dated item. It just basically doesn't allow you to do that if it's a short dated item. So anyway, but which is a good thing. But you can actually see here. That I actually have the schedule turned on. Okay. If I scroll down, I'm sure that I'm going to actually find. In fact, I know where it's going to be. If I go into schedules and if I go into 2, you can actually see here. I think that I have them turned on. If it's a short dated or not. Actually, see here, even the NDC can actually show up in here. But I'm just trying to find one that actually shows it as short dated. That's all, because it will actually populate M222. I think it might be this one. If I try this. I was just trying to see where that short dated one was set up. But anyway, but in my system, when I'm setting up short dated, I'm not sure when was the last time you got an update in Elite, but we actually now have a really cool short dated capability compared to what it was based on what the requirement for EPCIS was. Some of our customers.
We had the meeting with Darren and everybody, and then we
perfect. So now that it's actually coming over and it's actually part of it's actually now part of the system here. So that's a cool thing. Yeah. So now I'm done. I can, I'm going to add this one to my shopping cart too. Right. It's done. I'm going to check out. All of these products, I can still make changes. I can still see the prices. I can still delete stuff. I can add it to my shopping cart if I wanted to. I can add quantities. All that kind of stuff can actually be done in here. I can still search for products here if I wanted to. I proceed to checkout, right? Same thing. It's not a big deal. All my products are still available here. Once I get to this stage, by the way, guys, I can edit the item by hitting edit, but I can't do it just by on the screen. So I can still delete it if I wanted to from here. But now, depending on the setup, I can do things like in here, I can do things like selecting the ship to location if I want right here. Oh, that's, yeah. But I can actually do, where is it? Maybe I don't have the ability in my setup here, but I have the ability, if there's multiple ship to locations, to select the different ship to locations as an example. It may have been because, the different ship to locations, I can enter specific notes. Can you give me a call because I want a better price for this particular product? If I'm a sales rep, by the way, that might be a situation where, I'm just going to go back to proceed because I got it. There it is right there. There's all the ship to locations. So these are again coming from the B2B or from the Elite. Okay. Blue Link has always, when you're using B2B, you always have to put in a product code or a purchase order number. Blue Link does have the setup of ship via. This can actually be turned off if you want, so you don't have to worry about having that information in there. And when do I want to request it by? So I can actually say I want it by the 11th as an example. Okay. The message at the bottom, I don't even see that, but I think that once I hit complete order, that's when that message pops up that I was talking about potentially earlier. Okay, I think the message actually pops up right in here, just so that you guys are aware.
Orders being processed, please do not refresh. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so basically it's actually populating the back end now. If I go into the back end, so it's done. If I go into Elite now, and I refresh this just because it was not refreshed, that's the order I just created.
Oh,
okay, nice. Guys. Yeah. So it's as easy as that. In the system, there is no integration needed. Basically, it's just your web developer putting, and I'm just going to, putting this URL that we provide you, it behind a button so that when they click it, it launches this scenario.
Right.
Okay.
Replacing the current web venture.
Exactly. Replacing the current web venture. You're absolutely right. So basically, and it might even be the same link for you guys.
Okay.
Right. It might even be, and it might be a different one, but that's something that you would talk to my team about. They would actually tell you what that link was. Account information. This is for backyard backyard in this particular scenario. I can see all of my shipping locations. I can see it's a little bit nicer now than it used to be with WebVenture with regards to being able to see expired and versus not. This is my demo data that's actually populating. That's why it's showing that. But one of the things now is order, and you can see here, some of the information in the account information was allowing me to populate some additional information here. Right now, I don't have much more other than the contact, but I could have populated with a whole bunch of different information in here. Order history, a lot like it was in WebVenture. What I can do though is I can actually go into here now and let me see if I'm gonna try to guess correctly here. Let me see. Actually, I'm gonna go to the second page. Let's see if this one's, because this one's now it's only going to happen on the invoiced orders, but this is where you're going to actually be able to see. You can still do the printing of the invoice, which you were able to do before, right? In the system, I can create a list for this order, easy enough. I can print the transaction report, which you were able to do already anyway. The download EPCIS and the print DT and the print details. These are new because of the EPCIS capability. So when I print this, what will happen is the file coming from the third party will automatically populate this so it can be uploaded. So I don't have to worry about connecting with them directly. Okay, guys?
Okay. Simple enough.
Questions?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I get what is, I mean, this is obviously a lot more user friendly. We can customize this whole platform or website the way we want, unlike the current one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, what is the cost associated with this?
You already have WebVenture, so you don't need that. I'm not sure what you're paying for WebVenture right now. To be honest with you, I don't know what that number would be.
A long time. We got it as soon as we first started, so five.
Yeah. And I don't know what Joanne and my team would do with you, to be totally honest with you. I'm not sure if they're just going to give it to you for the same price or not. That's up to them. That's not me. But if you were to buy this by itself now, it's $4.99 a month.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so it's probably going to be minimal cost increase if at all. So.
Yeah, and again, that's something that you can talk to Joanne and to whoever about and say, because I know that you're paying. You probably, when I sold you, you were probably paying $2.99, is my guess for WebVenture, because I think that's what the old price was, Ben. But I'm not sure if they're just doing an upgrade that says we want you to be on the new version anyway, so we're just going to give it to you for that price for a year or something like that. Or if they're going to start charging you right away for the new functionality.
Yeah, Joanne called me about this a few weeks ago. She was like, "Hey, we're going to be having everybody upgrade, blah blah blah, and it's going to be happening no matter what. Just want to see if you want to get it out of the way now, and we have Michael through a demo type thing." So I don't know, and I'll worry about that with her. But
because it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me anyway, especially now. So that's totally up to you and to talk to her about it. But I'm almost positive that you would have been paying for WebVenture $2.99. And for the B2B, it's actually now $4.99. That's what the price is for $4.99. Okay. So but I don't know what you're going to charge.
How long does this take to implement? I'm assuming that this is something that we would have to work on, obviously on our side, get it just the way we want, and then test it, and then say, okay, let's go live, right?
Again, that's a thing that you can talk to. I'm not sure the implementation process of what we do versus what you're doing. I know that we're trying to move everybody off of WebVenture because WebVenture is a beast, as you know. So we might already have a process with Lucas or with Mike Miner or whoever, Gonzalo, that actually they know exactly what they're doing on our side to set it up so that all you have to do is go in there and change stuff. Right? If you already have stuff in WebVenture, such as you created a logo or changed the colors, we probably would be able to populate all that stuff for you anyway. Right? Even as far as users. So I know that you're not going to want to go in there and create users. I'm almost positive that we have the capability of bringing over your old users so they don't have to be recreated. I'm almost positive that's the scenario.
That would be great.
Yeah. And I can't believe that we're not smart enough to be able to do that kind of stuff, right? Because we know what the users are. And I think in WebVenture, we were using the same nomenclature anyway. it might be just that the password for them has to change, but the actual user themselves, I think, can already be set up.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Good.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
I'm done unless you have anything else, but
no, I guess my question is, where do we go from here? Because we do want it. We do want to upgrade. We do want to move forward. So do I need to let Joanne know, or should we be reaching out, or?
Yeah, no, I will. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Joanne and copy you that says, Joanne, I did a demo with Ben. And Ben said that he will contact you because she's the one that's going to need to schedule stuff anyway. Right. Ben's going to contact you for additional information, something like that.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then she'll schedule it with you, as appropriate. I'm not sure, how long or when or whatever, but that's something that between you and her and scheduling to actually figure it out. Okay, sir?
Sounds great. I appreciate it, Michael.
No problem. Hopefully everything's going well with you guys. Again, thank you very much for being part of BlueLink. We've actually grown quite a bit in the pharma world since you've been started with us, because it's been a while with you guys.
So we referred a few people too. So
I know because all the pharma companies come to BlueLink, right? Or come to me, I should say. So, but yeah, I know that over the years, I've actually gotten people that said, you got, Ben contacted, or Ben told me to come to us. So we're really excited. We're really excited about what's happening with the BlueLink solution and moving forward. And the world finally knows BlueLink, Ben. That's the important thing is it's taken a long time, but now people are coming from us. FDA, the FDA consultants or FDA people that are going to do inspectors, they all know BlueLink now, and they're actually saying, customer, you need more than QuickBooks. You should talk to BlueLink, and that's a good thing. That's what we wanted to sort of do. So
that's funny. Did you send that message to Joanne already? Because she's calling me.
No, she did. Well, there you go.
She's calling me right now.
No, her ears are burning, but no. So you can actually talk to her when you're on the phone. And I'm not even going to bother sending an email then.
That's very good. Thank you, Michael.
You have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.